This video will be showing you everything you need to know about installing a resistor for a 3157 brake light bulb. When installing brake lights in this 2013 Ford Focus, we've run into a fairly common problem. The lights work, but there's an error code on the dash saying the light is out. The LED bulbs don't draw as much power as the stock halogen bulb, so the loss of power will cause an error code, with your car's computer system believing there's an outage. Ayla Lighting offers a quick solution. We're going to install a 6 ohm resistor for each brake light. We need to start by taking off the brake light assembly. There are 2 bolts holding it in. One behind this panel at the top of the trunk that we have removed, and the other behind this panel here at the back of the car. Turn the bolt counterclockwise. You can unscrew the bolt by hand or with a flathead screwdriver. The other bolt is difficult to grab, so we're using a pair of channel lock pliers to get it started. Unscrew the last bolt, and you can pull the assembly off the car. Be sure to pull the assembly straight out. The brake light is at the top of the assembly. Remove the light by turning the base counterclockwise. We have a pair of 6 ohm resistors and 4 T-taps. Before we install the resistor, it is very important to find a spot under the housing to install the resistor. Keep in mind the resistor will get very hot when under load, so mounting it in a spot that will not touch any wires or plastic is critical. We will test a few spots by putting the housing back into place. You can see this first spot will be too close to the wires when the housing is installed. If we move it up, it looks like this will be a safe spot since there is a nice gap for it to be installed. To install the resistor, we need to identify the target brake light circuit, or what wire is the brake light positive and what is the ground. This socket has 3 wires: brake light positive wire, tail light positive wire, and ground wire. If we take out the bulb, you can see the wires connected to the socket. There are 4 terminals, but if you look, 2 of the terminals are connected together through the side bridge. These are the ground terminals. The others will be the 2 positives. To find which one is the brake light positive wire, let's look at the stock halogen bulb. The longer filament is a bit thinner than the shorter filament. This shorter, thicker filament will be brighter than the long, skinny one. You can see that this filament runs to the outside of the socket, and the wires come out the bottom, here. Those filament wires will plug into the light socket, here. Traditionally, the black wire will be the ground, so we have found the brake circuit wire to which the resistor will be paralleled. To wire the resistor, we will wire one side into the color wire and the other into the black wires. We're going to unwind some of this wire so we can mount the resistor further down the line. This will be a better spot when we need to mount the resistor. Grab one of the T-taps, and to make it a bit easier, pry open the end just a little. Take a section of black wire and feed it into the end you just opened. Grab the section of light-colored wire and do the same with another T-tap. Next, you'll need to mount the resistor, but before you do so, put the socket back into the housing and measure to make sure you've given yourself enough wire. mark the spot you're going to mount the resistor. Now that you have measured, you can unplug the assembly from the car. Push the locking tab and pull the connector off. Using a small drill, drill a hole where you had marked for mounting the resistor. Use the included screw to secure the resistor in place. Take one of the resistor wires and insert it into the opening on the T-tab. Squeeze the metal tab on the T-tab with some pliers and close the cap. Follow the same steps for the other wire. Insert it into the T-tab, secure with pliers, and close the cap. Replace the bulb back into the socket and insert the socket back into the housing and turn it clockwise to lock it. We are ready to test it. If we hold the brake, the lights come on. And if we lightly feel the resistor, it's starting to get warm, so we know it's all working. Replace the housing by pushing it straight back in. Replace the bolts and tighten. You can use a flathead screwdriver and then finish tightening by hand. Replace the cover, and we can move on to the other side. Following the same steps, we will remove the housing and unplug the socket. We already know a good spot, so drill a hole to mount the resistor. Add one T-tap to the light color wire and one to the black wire. Replace the socket into the housing. Install the two wires from the resistor and clamp shut. Now replace the housing back into the car and replace the two bolts you had removed. Now when we check the lights, we can see that all systems are normal and the brake lights look great.
Safer, smarter, brighter, better. We are Ayla Lighting.